Rain hammered down on the rusted skylines of Arrow Station, a sprawling trade hub orbiting Luthen. 9 where smugglers, merchants, and mercenaries shouted prices in a dozen alien tongues. Captain Darius Kale stepped into a dim cantina, exhausted and broke. His freighter, the Nomad's Grace, had barely survived a pirate ambush, and his crew demanded pay he didn't have. So when a trembling merchant shoved a young alien girl forward and begged him to accept her as payment for debt, Darius almost laughed. "I don't deal in slaves," he growled. "She is not ordinary," the merchant stammered. "Please, human, take her and our debt is settled." The girl lifted her face just enough for Darius to see her strange, liquid silver eyes flecked with gold. A dull collar circled her neck, loose bindings around her wrists. She didn't look beaten, just exhausted, as though hiding her dignity beneath the guise of servitude. Darius sighed. He needed supplies. The merchant owed him more than credits could cover, and leaving the girl here gnawed at him. "Fine," he muttered, "but she works her keep aboard my ship. No chains, no collars." Relief washed over the merchant as he shoved the girl into Darius's arms and vanished into the night. Aboard the Grace, Darius cut off her collar. "Got a name?" For a moment she hesitated, then said softly, "Liara." "All right, Liara. You don't owe me anything. Stay until we reach safe space. After that, you're free." She gave a faint smile, but her eyes never lost their shadows. Days passed. Liara proved capable, graceful in everything she did. Repairing wiring, memorizing ship routines, cooking better meals than the crew had seen in months. Yet she rarely spoke, always watching, always listening. One night Darius found her at the viewport, standing with hands clasped behind her back like an officer inspecting a fleet. "You don't act like a slave," he said. She turned, silver eyes glinting. "And you don't act like a man who believes in them." "Never did. But that merchant thought you were worth something." Her gaze hardened. "To men like him, I am worth only what chains make of me." 2 weeks later, trouble found them. A sleek black warship dropped from hyperspace, cannons locking onto the Grace. Unidentified freighter, came the voice. "Surrender the fugitive aboard your vessel, and you may live." Darius cursed and looked at Liara. She stood pale but tall. "They're after you?" "Yes, but if you hand me over, they will kill you anyway." Darius should have cut her loose. She wasn't his problem. But something fierce in her eyes made his decision. "Not happening," he growled. The battle was brutal. The Grace was no warship, but Darius fought dirty. Feigned engine failure, dumped ion chaff, slingshot around a moon's gravity well, and escaped into hyperspace trailing smoke. When it was over, alarms blaring, he turned on Liara. "What the hell are you?" She straightened, voice calm but commanding. "I am Liara Valen, first daughter of the Celestari sovereignty, princess of the High Court." The words hit him like a railgun. "A princess," he repeated flatly. "Yes, kidnapped in an ambush, sold like chattel. And now you see why enemies hunt me." Darius muttered curses. He had accepted a slave for debt payment, only to discover she was heir to one of the wealthiest empires in the quadrant. Tension simmered in the following days. Liara insisted on working beside the crew, never above them. She shared rations, tended wounds, and even laughed softly at their jokes. One evening she told him quietly, "You regret saving me." He smirked without humor. "Regret? No, but I'd be lying if I said I know what to do with a princess on my ship." "You do what you always do," she said gently. "You survive, and perhaps you trust me." Their fragile peace shattered when another vessel intercepted them near the trade lanes, this one bearing the Celestari crest. Relief surged through Darius until Liara whispered, "These are not my father's men." The boarding party seized her brutally. Their captain sneered. "You've done well, human. Delivering the princess will make us rich." Darius's gut twisted. He could take the reward, walk away, maybe even profit. But Liara's eyes locked on his, fierce and unyielding. Blaster fire filled the corridors. Darius fought like a man possessed, and Liara, seizing a fallen weapon, fought at his side with trained precision. Together they drove the mercenaries back until the survivors fled into hyperspace. Darius gaped at her. "You can fight." Liara smirked grimly. "Did you think princesses only wear jewels? My father put a sword in my hand before a crown. At last, they reached Celestari space. Royal warships escorted them to the gleaming world of Valen Prime. Towers of crystal and silver rose into clouds, cities humming with wealth. Liara descended the ramp in a borrowed cloak, but the reception was anything but humble. Courtiers knelt, banners unfurled, trumpets blared. The emperor himself embraced her, his mask of sternness breaking with relief. "My daughter, my lost star." Liara stepped back and gestured to Darius. "Father, this man saved me when all others would have sold me. He deserves more than gratitude." The emperor studied him. "What do you seek, human? Wealth? Title? Command?" Darius shrugged. "Honestly, I just wanted to keep my crew alive." The emperor chuckled. "A rare answer. Then know this. You are welcome in Celestari space. Always. Should you ever call upon us, the sovereignty will answer." Back aboard the Nomad's Grace, ready to depart, Darius found Liara waiting. She no longer wore rags or regalia, just a simple traveler's tunic. "You're staying?" he asked, surprised. "For now," she said softly. "A princess owes duty to her people, but Liara owes her life to you, and I would see where this path leads." For the first time, her silver eyes were free of shadows. Darius smiled faintly as the engines roared. "Then let's see where the stars take us." The Nomad's Grace lifted into the void, a human captain and an alien princess side by side, bound not by chains but by choice.